I'm 34 years old now. At the time this happened, I was 31, working as a project coordinator for a mid-sized logistics company. Nothing exciting. Spreadsheets, emails, meetings that could have been emails. I've always been the kind of person who values stability over chaos. I like routines, same coffee shop, same route to work, same playlist on my drive home. This story took place in late 2022 in a quiet suburban city where nothing ever really happened. The kind of place where people leave their porch lights on all night and wave at neighbors they barely know. I had just ended a 2-year relationship with someone named Lucas. We met through mutual friends, and at first he seemed perfect, attentive, caring. The kind of guy who remembered small details about me and showed up early just to walk me to my car. I thought I was lucky. The breakup itself wasn't dramatic. No screaming, no thrown objects. Just a quiet conversation at my kitchen table where I told him I wasn't happy anymore, that I felt suffocated. He listened, nodded, and said he understood. That night, after he left, I cleaned my apartment. I washed dishes that were already clean. I vacuumed even though the floors looked fine. I remember thinking how calm everything felt, like I could finally breathe. I went to bed believing that was the end of it. I was wrong. The next few days passed normally, almost too normally. I went to work, answered emails, complained about deadlines with my co-workers. I stopped by the same grocery store on my way home and bought things only for myself for the first time in years. Lucas didn't text, didn't call. Part of me was relieved. Another part felt strangely unsettled by the silence, but I pushed that thought away. Breakups are awkward. People need space. That was healthy, right? On Thursday, I met my sister for dinner. We talked about everything except Lucas. She noticed, of course. She always does. "You okay?" she asked casually, stirring her drink. "Yeah," I said. And I meant it. When I got home later that night, I noticed my porch light was already on. I distinctly remembered turning it off that morning. I shrugged it off, assuming I'd forgotten. I was tired. The next morning, I found my phone charger plugged in on the kitchen counter instead of beside my bed where I always left it. Again, I blamed myself. Stress does weird things to memory. By the weekend, I started feeling lighter. I reorganized my closet, donated some of Lucas's old clothes he never picked up. I even downloaded a dating app, though I didn't actually use it. Saturday night, I watched a movie alone with the volume low, wrapped in a blanket. The apartment felt quiet in a way I wasn't used to yet, but not in a bad way. At least, that's what I kept telling myself. The first thing that truly bothered me happened Sunday morning. I woke up to a notification from my phone, a text message preview, lighting up the dark room. My heart jumped before I even read it. I hadn't told many people about the breakup yet. The message was from an unknown number. "Did you sleep okay?" No name, no explanation. I stared at it for a long time, my thumb hovering over the screen. I told myself it could be a wrong number or spam. Still, something about the wording felt familiar. I didn't reply. Later that day, I went for a walk around my neighborhood, headphones in, trying to shake the lingering unease. About halfway through, I noticed someone behind me, not close, just consistently there, tall, dark hoodie, baseball cap pulled low. Every time I slowed down, he slowed too. When I crossed the street, he crossed at the same spot. I told myself I was being paranoid. It was a public sidewalk in broad daylight. Eventually, I stopped and pretended to adjust my shoe. He walked past me without looking up. I exhaled, embarrassed at myself. That night, another message came in. I'm glad you're taking care of yourself. This time, my stomach dropped. I replied with a simple question. Who is this? The reply came almost instantly. You know, I locked my doors that night for the first time since moving in. Over the next week, the messages continued. Never threatening, never explicit, just observant. You always forget your umbrella. That blue sweater looks better on you than the gray one. You seem tired today. I stopped replying altogether, blocked the number. A new one texted the next day. At work, I couldn't focus. Every reflection in a window made me jump. Every unfamiliar car in the parking lot caught my attention. One evening, as I pulled into my apartment complex, I noticed Lucas's car parked near the far end of the lot. I told myself it was coincidence. He had friends nearby. He used to visit this area. But then I saw him sitting inside. The engine wasn't running, the lights were off. He was just sitting there, hands on the steering wheel, staring straight ahead. I didn't confront him. I parked closer to the building entrance and practically ran inside. That night, there was a knock at my door around 11:30 p.m. I froze. The knocking was soft, almost polite. Hey, Lucas said from the other side. I just want to talk. I didn't answer. I know you're home, he continued, voice calm. Your light's on. I turned off every light in the apartment and stood there in the dark, listening to him breathe on the other side of the door. After a few minutes, he left. Or at least, I thought he did. I didn't sleep that night. Around 3 a.m., I heard footsteps outside my bedroom window, slow, deliberate, gravel crunching softly. I grabbed my phone and whispered, I'm calling the police, though my voice shook. A pause. Then Lucas's voice, quiet but clear. I just needed to make sure you were safe. Something inside me snapped. Leave, I said, right now. I didn't mean to scare you, he replied. You're overreacting. That phrase, you're overreacting, hit harder than anything else. He'd used it 100 times before, when I questioned him, when I tried to set boundaries. I called the police anyway. By the time they arrived, Lucas was gone. No sign of him anywhere. They took a report, asked if he'd ever hurt me physically. I said no. They exchanged a look. Then there's not much we can do, one of them said gently. The next morning, I found a note tucked under my windshield wiper. I just want us to talk when you're calm. My hands were shaking so badly I dropped it. I moved out 2 weeks later. I stayed with my sister for a month, changed my number, filed for a restraining order, which took longer than I expected and felt strangely bureaucratic for something so personal. Lucas never showed up in court. The order was granted anyway. For a while, things felt normal again. I moved into a new apartment across town, told fewer people where I lived, learned to check my mirrors more often. Still, I flinched every time my phone buzzed, every time someone knocked unexpectedly. The police never followed up, they never do. Life went on because it had to. But something in me stayed tense, like a wire pulled too tight. It's been almost 3 years now. Last month, I received a friend request on social media from an account with no profile picture, no posts, just a name I didn't recognize. The bio read, "Still watching." I blocked it immediately. Sometimes I wonder if toxic relationships ever really end, or if they just learn new ways to stay quiet.